Do you remember your first day of school? I remember mine. I remember feeling both excited at starting something new and a little scared. I also had a lot of questions. Where do I sit? What time do we eat? Where's the bathroom? When can we go outside and play? And am I allowed to climb the trees? All very important questions. Luckily, the teacher showed me and my classmates where things were, explained how things worked, and told us the rules. And once we knew what we were expected to do and what we were allowed to do, it wasn't so scary anymore. On the playground, though, the situation was a little different. It was just us kids making up our own games and deciding how they ought to be played. We were making our own rules. And so one day on the jungle gym, my friends and I decided that the red bars were fire, and you couldn't touch them when you climbed. When we played tag, we decided that the person who is it had to count to 15 before chasing everybody else. And it was awesome. Until some other kids didn't agree with us. They thought the red bars were fine and you could touch them however you wanted. They also said counting to 15 for tag was too long and it should just be a 10 count. Well, we knew it was more fun when we played all together. So somehow, some way, after discussing and arguing and compromising, everybody agreed that the red bars were fire, but we would only count to 10 when we played tag. So each group of kids got something they wanted. Now, I didn't know it then, but when we agreed to follow the rules we made together, we were covenanting with each other. A covenant is a promise to each other about what we are going to do and how we are going to behave. We needed a covenant so that we could all play along together. Covenants are not only for the playground. They can be made by people in families and in congregations too. In fact, our Unitarian Universalist religion has a covenant. Our UU covenant was made about 60 years ago. Back then, there weren't any Unitarian Universalists. There were Unitarians and there were Universalists. Two different religions with different names, different buildings, different songs, and different rules. Even though they had different rules for how they did things, they realized that they agreed on many important ideas. Just like us kids on the playground, they had different rules, but they wanted to play the same game. So in 1960, they decided to play together. After discussing and arguing and compromising for almost a year, the Unitarians and the Universalists from hundreds of different congregations agreed on 6 principles, 6 rules that they all could follow. And because covenants can change as we grow and recognize more needs, 25 years later, in 1985, they added one more principle to make it 7. The 7 UU principles in child-friendly language are: 1, that each person is important; 2, to be kind in all you do; 3, we're free to learn together; 4, we search for what is true; 5, all people need a voice; 6, build a fair and peaceful world; and 7, we care for Earth's lifeboat. And just like in 1985, when we added the 7th principle, we are considering adding an 8th principle that invites us to work for a faith tradition and a world without systemic racism. So let's remember that Unitarian Universalism is a covenantal religion, which means, just like with the kids on the playground, it's really important to consider the needs of everyone in our congregation and to treat each other with kindness and respect.